If you loved or are loving Expedition 33, I'm a longtime turn-based RPG fan, and I wanted to show you guys some other games to get into the genre, or if you're already a fan of the turn-based RPG genre, these games are some games you should definitely check out with either similar themes, just classic turn-based RPGs that everyone should play, or have a similar play style to Expedition 33. Starting things off with an RPG that most people would agree is one that everyone should play at some point in their life, and that is Chrono Trigger. Originally released on the Super Nintendo, you can find it on Steam, you can find it on the DS, you can find it on the PlayStation 1. However you play it, that's up to you, but this game is iconic for telling an amazing story, having incredible characters, on a trip through time to save the world from a creature buried deep within the planet, devouring it at all times. This game is kind of known for adding double and triple text, which means certain characters' abilities will combine to create new abilities that are more powerful than the sum of their parts. This is also one of the few Super Nintendo era RPGs that don't have random encounters. You actually have on-screen encounters. This is the one that would kind of set the trend for other RPGs that did eventually go down this route when it comes to on-screen encounters. It's a great story, a great journey, a great adventure with some amazing characters, and I promise you, if you liked Expedition 33, you will love Chrono Trigger. Another one I wanted to mention that's an absolute instant classic, that's not even that old, is Dragon Quest XI. You can get Dragon Quest XI-S on pretty much all modern consoles as well as Steam. This is the definitive way to play the game. It's a giant adventure with an amazing cast of characters. The combat is a lot quicker than what you would experience in some other turn-based games. Now, this game is pure turn-based, but it will let you swap party members in and out of battle at any time. You can also change your equipment in the middle of battle. There's a huge world to explore in this one, and it really makes you feel like you're playing the classics. And to me, that's what Expedition 33 did. It kind of brought the classic turn-based RPG feel, but with a modern-day look. This is something that a lot of developers have been struggling to do. Most of them got away with world maps. It's just a love letter to the classics. So I figured I'd recommend an absolute classic that I feel like every RPG fan, every turn-based RPG fan loves, and my personal favorite game of all time that is also a turn-based RPG in Dragon Quest XI. So now let's slowly work our way towards games that are even more similar to Expedition 33, starting off by talking about games with a similar narrative. I wanted to mention Final Fantasy X here because, similar to Dragon Quest XI, you're able to swap party members in and out of battle at any given moment. So whoever's strong against whatever enemies are on screen, you can kind of go in and send that character in, deal the damage, and then swap out if need be. These are a nice feature to have in the kind of more modern turn-based games, but it is pure turn-based. There's not another element to the turn-based combat, so I will just let you know that. It does show the turn order on the side of the screen. I believe Dragon Quest XI did as well, so that is always awesome to have. But it's more so kind of the narrative, the story of Final Fantasy X. That's the reason why I'm recommending this one to you. It's about a giant pilgrimage to save the world from a great evil that plagues it every few years. So kind of similar setup to Expedition 33. There's some characters that are in the know on what happens at the end of this pilgrimage, and some characters that have no idea what this pilgrimage is, what will happen at the end of it, and it's great going on a journey with these excellent characters to find out what the pilgrimage is all about, what happens at the end, and what we can do to get them there. So definitely check out Final Fantasy X. Probably one of the best Final Fantasies to recommend to anyone, especially people new to the turn-based RPG genre. So next up, I wanted to mention another game that's very similar in narrative. Now, I recommend playing all of these games, but I gotta tell you, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 has a lot narratively and musically aligned with Expedition 33. Xenoblade Chronicles series as a whole has an incredible soundtrack, incredible sound direction, just like Expedition 33. So you'll have a moment that just hits emotionally, and then you'll get to this wave of emotion carried through the music into you as well. And they just do such a good job of that. But like I said, I would recommend playing Xenoblade Chronicles 1, then 2, then 3. Because 3 is the one that narratively is a lot more like Expedition 33. There's kind of like these two factions. They're fighting each other all the time, and they don't even really know why. They just know that this is how it's been, and the whole world is about like all these people that have died before, and it's just kind of a cycle that keeps on going. The whole kind of theme of the game's story is to end this cycle, but it's a cycle that these other beings that are kind of more powerful than the average person are doing everything in their power to keep going because they thrive on this cycle. Definitely check this out. It's about kind of solving the mystery of what happened to the people before, why the world is the way it is. Very, very similar in that aspect to Expedition 33 as well. But like I said, maybe play the definitive edition of Xenoblade Chronicles first on the Switch, and then play Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and then play Xenoblade Chronicles 3. 3 is definitely the one here that has the most in common with Expedition 33, but you're really going to get a lot more out of it if you play the first two before checking that one out. Next up, I wanted to mention games that play a lot more like Expedition 33, starting with Legend of Legaia. Legend of Legaia is a PlayStation 1 classic. I don't know if I'd call it a hidden gem at this point. A lot of people, anyone who's played Legend of Legaia loves it and knows about it and shares it with their friends, but the combat is very, very different from any other turn-based RPG, and that's kind of why I wanted to recommend this one for fans of Expedition 33. So instead of just going my turn, your turn, like some of the other games that I mentioned prior, you have combos that you put in, and if you put in certain combos, you'll finish those combos with a special move or certain attacks that'll do certain damage to certain enemies. It's just really well done. You've got 4 different directions for all the combos. So you've got high, low, left, and right. So you're doing kind of like martial arts attacks, and then you'll do like some finishing move. And it's really, really well done. You also have to kind of strategize during battle because you need a certain amount of AP in order to pull off longer combos. Much like Expedition 33 in that aspect as well. So I think if you enjoyed Expedition 33, you would really enjoy Legend of Legaia's combat. It also takes place in like a devastated world, and they're trying to get to the bottom of why the world is the way it is and what we can do to change it for the better and make everyone's lives a lot more peaceful than what they currently are. So definitely check out Legend of Legaia, my #1 recommendation for fans of Expedition 33, and you'll probably hear this from everyone because this game, I believe, was a massive inspiration for Expedition 33, and I'm talking about The Legend of Dragoon on the PlayStation 1. I believe you can get this on the PlayStation 5 now in some way or another. There's like a remaster or something they did, but this is a game, again, where the world is very unique, and it's for very unique reasons. There was like a giant war hundreds of years ago between these people called the Winglies and the Dragoons, and it's all about kind of uncovering the past, learning about the way the world is. But the main reason I recommend this game for Expedition 33 fans is the combat. Legend of Dragoon uses what are called additions, and very, very similarly to Expedition 33's combat, these additions, you have to hit the attack button at the right time in a series of button presses to form the combos. The longer you can get into the combo, the more damage you'll do, obviously, and if you can get all the way to the end of the combo each time, you'll get like a finishing attack at the end of the combo that does even more damage. The combat in this, I feel like Expedition 33 really took Legend of Dragoon's combat and ran with it. Some of the characters as you go through the game also have really dark backstories, and the storytelling is really, really well done. My biggest gripe in Legend of Dragoon, however, is the fact that the combat does take quite a while because the additions aren't nearly as quick, I feel, as they are in Expedition 33. Expedition 33, you'll have like maybe a max of 3 button inputs you have to do. Legend of Dragoon, the attacks are a lot slower, and you have to like memorize all the different additions for all the different characters so that you can get the timing right. It's very difficult, but if you can master it, just like Expedition 33, you're going to have an excellent time doing the combat in this game. I hope you check these games out. I hope this video found the next game that you're going to fall in love with. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to like, subscribe, and turn notifications to all. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.